Today's show is sponsored by Tiny Tales, Big Triumphs, How Animals Show Us Super Strength. This delightful book brings to life various animals who demonstrate overcoming obstacles, the power of teamwork, and the magic of adapting to changes. Filled with captivating and vibrant illustrations, it aims to teach important lessons about resilience and inner strength through the incredible stories of these animals. And today I'm excited because the author is here with me as we have amazing conversations about how to launch your dreams. You know, everything starts with a dream. What's yours? I know you want to tell us all about it. So today, I wanted to make sure I gave you a step-by-step guide on how you entrepreneurs and small business people can launch your dreams. It doesn't matter if you are just starting out in the ideation phase or if you've been in business for a long time. I'm gonna give you 8 steps that's gonna help you launch your dreams or relaunch them in any case. But before I do that, I'm going to bring my partner in everything good, Lisa Deshorm, the 15-minute results coach, the executive results coach, and so much more, and a fellow veteran to the stage. Lisa, where you at? Hey, Lisa.
Hey, thank you for bringing me on.
You know, I'm excited because today I wanted to share with everyone launching your dreams, a step-by-step guide. I like this little illustration. You see I have the little hands there, little boy. What? That's them letting go of their dreams so they go into the atmosphere. And I wanted to start by sharing with them what my dream was. See, my dream is to empower entrepreneurs to achieve breakthrough results while unlocking their full potential for increased revenue and time freedom through holistic mind, body, and soul strategies. Lisa, when I first had this dream, as you know, it was a little bit, I hate this word, but I'm gonna use it anyway, daunting. It's like, or shall I say overwhelming, maybe a little bit scary. It was a little bit of everything because I knew what I wanted to do. I just didn't know quite how to do it. Even though I'm a serial entrepreneur, Lisa, I never bothered to learn what I call, quote unquote, the technical things of the business of doing things. I had no idea that all these years had been preparing me to do the things that I'm going to be sharing with people with your help throughout. So we're going to make sure we use some correct terms instead of the witchamagidget and thingamabob that I've always used for the past whatever years, so people can get the right information. But before we start, Lisa, I want to be clear on, for you, when you started doing your coaching program as well as the 15-minute results coach, what was your dream behind starting yours?
For me, it was more I stumbled into it. It wasn't, I actually didn't dream. I had already been helping businesses. And because I'd been helping businesses for 10 years, it was, how can I do it more efficiently? How can I really step in and help the senior execs and CEOs get rid of all the stress and pressure? So in my particular case, it was never a dream. It was just that I stumbled into it. But as I progressed, I did have to dream, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to figure out what it was that I really wanted. And for me, my dream was just to help senior execs and CEOs just de-stress in their life and find better ways to do what they're doing, find ways to get out of that stuck. Because I can, because I think differently than most. And I think that, you know, my dream is just to help people.
And before we go on to the 8 steps, I also want to talk about uh, the way we do things now. I really love the fact that I can do what I do right here from my home. You know, for me, that was a game changer. Being diagnosed with post-traumatic stress has sometimes not allowed me the ability to not the diagnosis itself, but the symptoms of the diagnosis. So for those of you that are always checking me and saying, Brenda, that didn't sound right, here we go. Let's be clear about this. My diagnosis of post-traumatic stress did not make me have to stay in my home, but the what do you call it, the symptoms or the things that come from that made it difficult for me to leave my home, to be in crowds, to be comfortable with that. So I have to very clearly navigate my what I call foray into the world. And being able to do this business from the safety and comfort from my home has been a game changer for me, Lisa, because I just recently attended an event. But it took me a week coming back from that event to get myself mentally together because of the stimulus and all of the interaction with people. How has being able to do your business from the comfort of your home helped you?
It really has helped because I'm an introvert. So being out in crowds is not my forte by any stretch of the imagination. I do it, but it took you a week to reset. It takes me a week to prepare and then a week to reset. Because for me, being in crowds is generally a real big stressor for me. But doing it from home, there's a whole different world. And understanding that, when I do group coaching or when I'm doing a workshop, I have a very cognizant approach to the way I do things because I understand that people who are on the Zoom are not paying attention.
Mhm.
They're getting bits and pieces, but they're looking at other people's Zoom backgrounds. So I've been able to integrate a variety of different techniques to resolve those issues. So
Mhm.
for me, it's just been more comfortable, and it's allowed me to reach also a larger audience than I would normally reach if I just did the in-person events.
I'm sticking on this part because I just really want to emphasize for those of you that may have a diagnosis like us or just the desire to work from home to let you know that it is still possible, that that you're able to make money doing it, and that if that's your comfort level, don't discount the ability to work from home. I work with people all around the world. It is amazing to me, Lisa, that a lot of my clients, I work with clients in Japan, Australia, the UK, Dubai. I just am fascinated by my ability to reach around the world from the comfort of my podcast studio sitting here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. And that is something that I did not even know was possible until I met you. So I want anyone that's listening, if you have a business idea and you're trying to say, well, I don't like leaving my home, or maybe I'm an introvert, or I have a mental diagnosis that precludes me from being in crowds, baby, there's still options for you. And we're going to get into these 8 steps now, Lisa. We're going to start with step 1. Step 1 is define your business ideal. Lisa, there are so many business owners that I talk to that have not defined their business ideal, and they have a business, which is scary if you think about it. And what I want to talk about in this particular step is people working on the passion or the problem solving ideal that lights them up, the importance of market research, and the competitive landscape. Because I think when you're talking about your defining your business ideal, people aren't really doing that.
That is true. They're not. You want to talk about defining the idea. It is it is such a word that most people don't think about. Or most practices most people don't do. And it's because they don't understand how to define the business idea. You've got something in your head, and all of a sudden you think you've defined your business idea. I want to be a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I've defined my business idea. I told you I want to be a coach. And they don't understand. Yeah, no, that's really not defining it. You're
Mm-hmm.
giving me a very broad concept of what you want to
Mm-hmm.
do. And walking people through defining that, even individuals who have created or invented products,
Mm-hmm.
their answer is, well, my business idea is this particular product. Well, we need a whole lot more than here's the product I developed. This is my business idea. It's a product, it's not a business. You have to then take it to a business. If you want to buy a store or purchase somebody else's business, you really have to define what that business is going to be. And that, believe it or not, is one of the hardest things for people to do.
And I believe you, Lisa, because I hear oftentimes when I start working with someone, I just want to help everybody. I call that the Pollyanna approach. It doesn't work, and we have a lot of work to do. But as we're going through these steps, I want those of you that's listening to understand that I'm telling you these steps because this is what I do with the Solutionist Portal. We help you define your business ideal. we talked to you about market research and why it's important to know what everybody else is doing so that you can make sure that it's something that's going to be viable. And more importantly, is it really something that people want in the first place? I love some of the things that happened in my defining my business idea when you would tell me that was not going to fly. And I was like, oh, but Lisa, it's such a great idea. I really want to do it. And you begin to show me why it wasn't a great idea. And those are the things we flush out inside the Solutionist portal. And also, you got to know the competitive landscape. What are your competitors doing for the business ideal that you want to unleash onto the world? So those are things we talk about in that step and that I had to define for myself as I was working on launching my dreams. The next one, Lisa.
Oh, can I go back to, can
Yes,
I
let's
add
go
one more
back.
thing?
Define it. Okay.
So one thing that also, which is why you in the portal you offer the strength finders assessment, because
Mm-hmm.
one of the first things that people need to really do in defining their business idea is to identify their passion and skills, and with the strength finders that actually allows them to do that a lot easier.
And I'm glad you bring it up, Lisa. I so often take that for granted. And we're going to talk about that in the branding portion, actually. So just put a pin in that about strength finders. And I'm going to make a note here on because we always have notes when we're doing stuff. Where's the stuff about branding? Oh, right down here. I'm going to put strength S2O. So I remember that. The next step we're going to talk about is crafting a business plan. Now, before Lisa goes into the business plan thing from you know where, y'all work with me. I want y'all to know and I'm gonna say this and let Lisa slap me later. I've only done my business plan once. It was a reference, and I'll never do it again because, and I'll explain why later, because I don't see the necessity in them like Lisa does, because she's a traditional business. I'm one of them people do business your way people. So Lisa, I'm gonna let you talk about crafting the business plan, why it's a roadmap for success, why it's about your financial projections, the marketing and sales strategy, the exit strategy, and all those things that make my head hurt. Lord Jesus. Go ahead, Lisa. Do your thing.
So, okay, I am a big proponent for the business plan, and I do think it needs to be updated on a yearly basis. Let's just start off with that. But I will tell you, a lot of people are pulling away from the business plan because it's just too much for them to do. So, as an alternative for people like Brenda, even if they don't do the business plan, I I do encourage them to do a skeleton of a business plan, which is called a business model canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do not understand all of the pieces of your business, you will not be successful. It doesn't matter how hard you try, it doesn't matter what you do. That will be a problem. You will not be successful. You can say, well, wait a minute, let me put a check on there, people. I make $1 million a year. And
Mm-hmm.
I clearly don't have a business plan. I don't have a business model canvas, and I don't know all these foundational things. Well, the minute you start getting cracks in there, that $1 million is going to go right down the toilet, because eventually something does go wrong because you didn't put all the processes in place. So you want to understand your customer segment. Understanding and identifying your target customer is important. That is part of the business model canvas. Your value proposition, what do you offer each customer that nobody else is going to offer? Because that's really what you have to think about. And then you have to think about what they call the channels. This really is, how are you going to reach your customers? What are you going to do? Are you going to use social media? Are you going to use newspapers? I had a conversation the other day, and I thought somebody was going to have a heart attack. I suggested they put an ad in the local paper.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody reads the paper anymore. Time out. Yeah, they do. There's still
Yeah, they do.
people who read it.
Yes, they
And I
do.
don't, and there are a lot of towns like mine in Belchertown where we get a free paper once a week about town, whatever, and within our area. So look at the most cost effective way based on what you are doing, but you have to know how you're going to market your product. Then think about the customer relationships. Who is going to be your customer segment? Where are you going to get them? What type of relationship are you going to have with them? Revenue streams, how are you going to make money? We know for a fact as a coach, you just can't make money with a client. with just working with the client one-on-one. You have to have other avenues of a revenue stream. So what can you do to show that you're a subject matter expert, that people will want to buy whatever it happens to be? Or how else can you get it? Become an affiliate program, etc. There's a lot of ways to add revenue streams. Then look at the key resources. This one's important because it's, you really want to know what's required to make your business model work. You know, most of the time when I started coaching, I said all I need is a computer and a printer, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
But when I really broke down my resources, that included software programs, it included people I needed to connect with. I mean, people can be resources and organizations can be resources. So you have to think about that. Then you have to think about the key activities. What are going to be the key activities of your business? For me, senior exec CEOs, stress. Boom, that's it. There's a lot to the stress, but my key activity is dealing with the senior exec CEOs who are stressed, helping them with their productivity, etc. And then key partners. Who can you partner with? I partner with Brenda. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you look at different partners for supplies and things that you need. If there's certain supplies, if you happen to be a bakery and you need baked goods, or you need the specific type of flour, whatever it is you need in order to do your baked goods, who are you partnering with? Once you have all that, then you're going to look at the cost structure. So when you think about it, it seems like a lot, but it
It
just fits
is.
on it fits on a single page, but it gives you a foundation. And then if you ever want to dip your toes in the water and actually do a business plan, which would make me very happy, then you have the framework for it. And the business model and then the business plan, you just fill in more detailed, make it meatier, a lot, and a little bit additional information that goes on there. Score.org has great templates for not only the business model canvas, but it also has financial templates, all these other templates that you can use. They got a great gallery of templates. And they also have the business plan samples. And plus, score.org, you can get a mentor who can help you with your business. So, score.org is an all in one service, and it's free.
It's free. And here's the thing, Lisa. The reason I wanted you to go, because I know that is your thing, business plans. And I know the importance of a business plan. I just don't do them the traditional way. All of the things that Lisa talked about, yes, we talk about that in the Solutionist portal, but in a way that's not as overwhelming. It makes you seem like, boy, do I have to do all that? Because the truth is, you really do. If you don't have a rock solid foundation, and a business plan is your roadmap to success, but there are more than one ways to make a roadmap. And let me tell you, you want the detail. It's like the little boy who said, Daddy, tell me about sex. And he said, did you ask your mom? He says, no, because I didn't want to know that much about it. See, so if you want the detail down to the left, talk to Lisa. If you want to know how to do business my way, your way, and still get that done, talk to me. And I love it. I'm still going to give you the foundation, but I'm going to show you a way to do it where it's not as detailed, because sometimes you get lost in the details. Details matter, though, so don't have Lisa slapping me later when we get off this show. The next step in this 8-step plan is legal regulatory considerations. Nope, that's the wrong one. I missed step 3, didn't I, Lisa? Step 3,
You did.
secure some funding, y'all. Y'all watch me. See, I got all excited about the business plan. We got to secure some funding. Are you going to bootstrap it? Means you're going to provide the money yourself? Are you going to look for loans and grants? Or are you going to look for investors? Oh, did I spit? Yes, I don't like investors. But that's a whole show for a whole nother day. Lisa, what are your thoughts about bootstrapping, loans and grants, and investors?
You know, there are so many different options. So, first, before you do anything at all, what are your financial needs? And actually, I thought legal should have gone before the financial, the legal require that way you know what you are, but we're going this way. But think about what your financial needs are. You really have to document everything that you are looking for finances. I'm a strong believer, if you can afford family and friends for financing, that's absolutely the way to do it. I am against, however, taking all of your 401(k) which
Yes.
a lot of people do. Because the reality is, business is not guaranteed. And this is your passion. And everybody says, well, I'm 100% all in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking if you take all your 401k and all of your money and you're all in, what are you going to do when it fails? I'm not saying it's going to fail. I'm saying I want you to consider if it does fail and think about it that way. You've got your angel investors. These are people who provide capital. When you think about angel investors and anybody who venture capitalists, anybody who's going to come in and take a portion of your business or is going to come in and kind of take control of your business, because once you have somebody put money into it, besides family and friends, they want more information. They want to become part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
really do want to think about it. There's crowdfunding opportunities. If you've got a really good business that's going to help your community, look at crowdfunding. Look at the Small Business Administration and bank loans. If you know, and you have to know how much you need. You can't just say, "Oh, I want $1 million," kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Think about the power of broke first, because that to me is the most important area. There are a lot of community development kind of funds that are available to businesses that most people don't utilize. Those are really good as well. So think about what's available. If you're a nonprofit, you can look at grants, and actually for profits can look at grants as well, depending on what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to the finances and looking for those, understanding what each one is probably the most valuable thing you can do, is taking the time to read the one pager that says this is exactly what it is. This is the pros and cons of venture capitalists, of angel investors, of family and friends. And keep one thing in mind. If you are borrowing money for your business from family and friends, be very clear with them up front how you're going to pay them back. Or if you are going to make a conscious decision not to pay them back if the business is not successful, they need to know that up front, because otherwise you can lose family and friends very easily if your business fails because you didn't already put something straight up front.
And see, I made a conscious decision to put the money before the legal structure, actually, Lisa. And the reason I thought the funding first is because I felt when I started it, I actually had it in the reverse. But my problem is, I went down there to find out about business structure stuff. I had no money to do anything. I didn't even know what I was working with. So to me, being clear on what my plan was for the money, am I going to finance it myself? Am I going to look for loans or whatever? And investors, and then how much money I thought I needed to have a business would have been valuable to me before I got to step 4, which was the legal and regulatory considerations. And like you said, we need to know our business structure. Are we going to be a sole proprietor, an LLC, a S corp, a corporation? What are we going to do? What licensings and permits are needed to do the business you say you want to? Do you understand taxes? There is so many things that go into the license. And right now, with the new LLC law that took effect January 1, 2024, we need to understand what are the requirements, because if you don't know, it could cost you $500 a day. If you had an LLC that started, and I'm going to put a website here for you guys to go do some research on your own. Hold on one second. I'll get in a minute. Here we go. If you if you had an LLC that was in effect before January 1, 2024, you have until January 2025 to do your reporting for the beneficial ownership information. However, if you started your LLC on January 1, 2024, you have 90 days to get that information once it's put out in the Federal Register that you are a corporation, or baby, you're going to be paying $500 a day up to $10,000 in fines. And here's the thing, starting 2025, it goes down to 30 days requirement after you become an LLC to put in the beneficial owner information. Go to this website right here, www.FinCEN. That's the financial, what is it? I wrote it down. Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. It's out of the Department of Treasury. You want to make sure that you are reporting properly so that you don't get caught up in the drama. And there's already a lot of people getting caught up, Lisa. Even though we did that video months before it took effect, people still didn't get the word out. People's tax advisors didn't know. That's why it's important to know who's managing your finances, and you should know enough to be diligent. Lisa?
I totally agree. And some of the other things that you want to consider when you're looking at finances is how much personal liability are you willing to assume? Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's family, friends, loan, venture capitalists, etc. What is it are you willing to take on? And then, like Brenda said, the taxes, and then control. How much control do you want over your business? Because if you start looking at other people to invest in your business, you may start losing control over your business. So keep that in mind as well. And don't ask for more than you need. Think about the power of broke. When you think about how much you need for capital, literally break it on down, and some of it you may be able to cover. So if you can cover it, don't go and get the loans. I know a lot of people are like, well, wait a minute, I'm getting the loan because it's part of the business. Loan it to yourself and pay yourself back the interest, but get only take what you need. And then, some of the different ways and some of the different loans that you get and some of the different grants you get have a whole bunch of regulatory burden to them. So
Mm-hmm.
think about the regulatory burden, because that's going to be really important when you are looking this, and how are you going to handle the compliance? And I'm thinking more on the grant side of it, because grants come with a lot of paperwork and rules and policies that have to be followed. And then last but not least, don't forget, think about your future goals. If let's say that you're looking at your business in your 5-year plan, I know most people don't have one, but when you're thinking about finances, think 5 years out, please.
Mm-hmm.
Think about, could you get a little bit now, a little bit next year, a little bit next year, to keep the financial burden down until you have been the success and have all the different things that you need.
And also, the legal and the finances really are tied a lot together, Lisa. And a lot of small business owners overlook that. But before we move on to the next thing, I want you to explain, because you've used this term several times, and I don't want to leave anybody. What do you mean when you say consider the power of broke?
Okay. So it's a book I got from Damon John, The Power of Broke. And one of the things that he points out in the book, which I could see literally, was if we have $1,000 and if we have $20, we can do and have a really good event for $20 and have a really good event for $1,000. So why not make it a $20 event instead of $1,000 event and save that extra money? Because a lot of times we have money and we think we need to spend it. Oh yeah, well, I have $2,000 to do this event.
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean you have to spend the full $2,000? No.
No.
It means you have $2,000, but you can do a really great event with $500. You can get somebody to donate the space for the event that you're
Mm-hmm.
going to. Believe it or not, libraries actually encourage people to come in and do workshops and things. And they
Mm-hmm.
don't charge you anything to
Yeah.
do the workshops there. So think about ways that you can save money, ways you can barter. Believe it or not, bartering is still here today. And a lot of people barter, and that's really asking somebody, hey, I'll give you this service if you do this service, kind of thing. So,
Also, the thing about that, Lisa, you talking about putting on a good event. Oftentimes, when I put on an event, I look to other businesses to donate services or products that I can give away for prizes that cost me absolutely nothing. It's a way for them to get brand awareness, and also to make people aware and to use them as advertisers and sponsors for your event. So you can do an event fairly inexpensively if you just really look at what's available. And a lot of communities have libraries. There are spaces within the college. There are different organizations that do open themselves up for you to have an event, and it won't cost you a dime. So you need to know what's going on in your resources. Lisa, the next thing we're talking about is step number 5. One of my favorite steps, brand development. It's all about getting clear on your brand identity, your brand voice and personality, your websites, landing pages, your online presence in general. All about the social media, baby. Branding. You know, when I first started, I had all this disjointed, disconnected things that was just out there doing whatever it was doing. And then I did a brand audit. I actually talked about doing a brand audit this morning on IG, Lisa. It's so important that you know what your brand's core values are, what your core values are, so they align with the message you want to get out about your product or service. And there are a lot of people missing an opportunity to have a clear brand voice, a clear brand personality, and that social media. Lisa, how many times do I have to say, I do not want to go to your social media page and see all your behind hanging out? You tell me you're a real estate person, or that you're a life coach, or that you're a psychiatrist. Something all I see is bikini pics. What's wrong with it? And I'm picking on the ladies because you are the biggest offenders of this. If you have a brand, and now with so many people doing the personal thing, yes, people want to know about your personal thing, but I don't need to see you behind every time I look at you. Okay. Don't let me get on my soapbox, Lisa. Shut me up while I got the time.
Well, no, and I agree with you, because it's got to be authentically you, but in the same sense, if your authentic self is somebody who believes in being in the bikini all day, and that's who you are, and those are the type of clients you want to attract, then that's what it is. But if you are going to pretend that you are somebody who's high and tight, very professional, because bikinis, with all due respect, are not professional. Those are very laid back and relaxed. I don't care how good you look in the bikini. And let me tell you, a lot of years ago, I looked really good in the bikini, and I still wouldn't take a picture of it on social media. No matter how good I looked in that bikini. I know it's hard to tell today, but I used to look hot in a bikini. But there are certain things that people should not see. You do not want people, unless you happen to sell bikinis, unless you happen to make bikinis, then that's a perfect picture for you. Be genuine and transparent. If I'm a cusser, and I don't cuss, but if I'm a cusser, somebody cusses, curses, whatever you call it, and on my Facebook page you see F this and F that and BS this and BS that, and yet on my professional page you don't see any of that, you see very respectful conversations, kind of thing, that's not authentic. And then people are not, your brand is what at that point? Because what you've done is you've showed two completely different brands. So make sure that your brand is very consistent with who you are, and don't be an actor. Unless your job is acting, don't be an actor, because that is generally a problem.
And I want to put a pin right here, Lisa, because the reality is, though, is there are some times when who you really are is not who you need to show in your brand. Because if you are a cusser and stuff like that, and you're selling something that does not lend itself to that, that may be a side of yourself you need to keep from the public. But just be aware that when people find out who you really are behind closed doors, you may lose a sale. Just wanted to put that out there. Okay. And number 6, we're going to talk about marketing and sales strategy. Lisa, so many people fail to identify their marketing streams, their marketing channels. They don't develop a sales funnel. They don't track their marketing performance. And dare I say, Lisa, there are people that are not doing calls to action. You know anybody like that?
No, I can't possibly.
We don't know anybody like that, do we? I have to be transparent here, you guys. When I first started with Lisa, we just tickled ourselves to death because we were doing the most and getting the least because we never asked anybody to buy our products and services. And then one day we learned the reason nobody was buying it is because it wasn't that it wasn't good, but we got clear feedback. But you never asked us. What? We got to ask you to buy it? Who knew? And as soon as we started saying, hey, would you buy this or would you get this? Things started flying off the shelf. People started spending money. But I thought, why would we have to ask you to sell it when you know we have a business? But it's the psychology of the sale. People don't just buy stuff because you show it to them. You have to actually ask. So it's just like in the Bible. You have not because you ask not. So ask for it. Make the sale, Lisa.
And I will admit that is a whole total truth. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I've asked them to sell it because I said inside it by here. I didn't say it big enough for people. Here, there's an entire post, and the very last one says, contact me. Yeah, without a link, without something to contact. So that's always going to be the challenge. For me, from a marketing strategy perspective, I always say do a competitor analysis. With AI nowadays, it's so easy to do a competitor analysis. But the reason I say do a competitor analysis for your marketing strategy is because you have a unique selling proposition. You have something that is better than your competitor. How is your competitor actually marketing their services? What do
Mhm.
you offer that's different? What makes you better than that? And I think for me, that's the first thing I always tell everybody to do, because and I believe in education marketing, which
Mhm.
and education marketing is part of my marketing strategy, which means I like to educate people on stress. I like to educate people on productivity and what happens when you fail and perspectives and things like that. So for me, that's the part I like to do. So my marketing strategy includes the lead magnets that I give away for the stress management for the CEOs and senior execs.
And I love that you really got me to hone in on my lead magnets, making sure that I had ebooks and books and merchandise that allowed me to make what do you call it? Produce better brand awareness. A lot of small businesses don't take the time to do that, and it's something that we really stress in the Solutionist portal because we want each of our members to solidify their expertise in their industry and also to bring about brand awareness. Which brings us to our next step, which is step number 7, which is operations and logistics. Lisa, so many small businesses are failing to take into account their vendors, their suppliers, their inventory management, and customer service. Customer service, customer service. It's one thing if you are oh, I didn't turn my phone off. Let me click this off right now so we can do that. Sorry about that, you guys. Um, when you have a situation where you are like a t-shirt maker, you have to know where you're going to get the t-shirts from, where are you going to store them while you're preparing to make them for someone, how are you going to manage the inventory of all the different sizes, and then how are you going to answer the calls. I recently made a purchase for something, and let me tell you, I'm still waiting for it. In this day and age when we have Amazon and different places like that where you can literally get something overnight, it is really frustrating when you pay almost $100 for something and almost a month goes by and you still don't have it, and they don't even bother to correspond with you. And then when you correspond with them, they blow you off as if, how dare you contact me? Best believe that small business will not get my business again because they did not manage their supplies. They gave the excuse that they couldn't get the item. Then they came back with they had a family emergency. It was just a what do you call it? A litany of excuses, and I still don't have the product I paid for. That is poor customer service, and that is not the way to be successful in business.
And I totally agree. You have to really define your operational strategies and objectives at the get go. You have to think about the efficiency of whatever it is you're doing. How efficient? What is the timeline that you can get things? The quality is just as important. If you are, let's use the t-shirts as an example. If you can do the t-shirts and you can get it to people in 2 days opposed to 5 days, but the quality is going to be less, it's not going to be as good of a t-shirt, then you have to make that decision. Do I want a lesser quality or a
Mm-hmm.
better quality? You have to think about those, and you have to be flexible. And like Brenda said, without considering the customer, you will fail, and without thinking about how frustrated they're going to get. So be flexible. But if you have to be flexible, let the customer know, look, this is what happened. This is our new timeline. If there's a problem, if you want to cancel, please just let us know and we will cancel it at no charge, whatever the case happens to be, blah, blah, blah. That is critically, critically important. And I am a big mind map kind of person. So map out your process.
Mm-hmm.
List out exactly what your process is and the workflow that you're going to go through. That will help with the logistics on the back end.
And Lisa, I just want to say one thing, but this was a custom piece that I ordered, custom art piece. And I expected it to take a couple of weeks. I did not expect it to take a month and a half, and I did not expect the poor customer service. You know who you are. Anyway, I won't put you on blast, but you know who you are. Okay, Lisa. And then after that, my eighth step. This is something I wish I had understood even as a solopreneur. Build your team. This, whether you are doing it yourself, if you're going to hire people, if you're going to be outsourcing, if you got to build a strong culture for your business. And here's the thing, solopreneurs, guess what? You have a team. I've heard too many solopreneurs, and I love it because one of my friends, she put on the thing. She had a picture of her wearing all the different hats, CEO, FEO, all the things. And that's true. However, the truth is there are some hats she didn't wear. When you think about a team as a solopreneur, you have to think about who are the people that you are contacting. MailChimp is part of your team. If you have an email marketing service, if you have an accounting service, the 5 services I say every business should have. Project management, your social media, however you're doing that, even if it's not a person, guess what? Is Canva's part of my team. If Canva's not working or the system's down and I can't do my posting, guess what? I have a team member down. When social media went down a few months ago, Lisa, nobody could get on Instagram and Facebook. That's team member down. So you'll have those team members that are just simply programs that you use. And then you'll have those team members that are people, depending on what you do, because there's always something or someone besides you that helps your business run.
I totally agree. And what's even more important when it comes to team is communication with the team, within the team. Mm-hmm. And as solopreneurs, as Brenda says, you have a team already surrounding you. And don't forget, part of that team is your loyal customers. Mm-hmm. Your loyal client base, let me tell you, they are the best part of your team because they're the ones who are going to go out and say all the great things about you, your business, your service, your product, whatever the case may be. So make sure that you think when you sit down and say, I don't have a team, or you say, who is my team, which is the better question, write down all the people you're in contact with on a regular basis. Even a score mentor can be part of your team. So think about that and make sure that you're always taking feedback in. One of the greatest gifts anybody has ever given me is feedback. Even if I didn't like what they said, even if I disagreed with what they said, it was still the greatest gift because they were willing to tell me something about what I was doing, whether it's good or bad. In this particular case, she just didn't like my business name, which made perfect sense, by the way, but that's not the point. I liked my business name. She didn't. She was right. Mm-hmm. So now I do a lot of DBAs, doing business ads, but I still kept my original business name. So think about how important the feedback is on every level, especially from people that you consider in your team.
And here's the thing. And remember, when part of your team are the programs and services you use like MailChimp, Canva, Designer, RR, Vista Social, Social Bee, Flowdesk, to name just a few, when they have upgrades or updates, your iPad, how many times does iPhone give us an update? Lord Jesus, headache city. Pray for us, sister. Anyway, when they make an update, you have to change how you do business. Every time I go in, I'm ready to do something. Jasper's made another update. I just want to pull my hair out. So you have to stay ahead of the game, which brings us to my final. It's not a step, but it is a bonus. It's about being a continual learner. Because if you're using a program, I'm pretty sure, especially in today's age of AI, they're going to upgrade, and they're going to upgrade often to keep ahead of the curve. So you're going to have to be prepared that you may get up in the morning to do something, and you have to find a whole new way of doing it. The other thing is you need to stay lean and adaptable. Are you ready to pivot as things change? Maybe something that was a good seller today won't be a good seller tomorrow or next week or next week. And you have to network with other entrepreneurs and other people in general. Who are the people that you need to know in order that your business can grow? Those are some of the bonus things. And then the final bonus step is what Lisa talked about way back in the beginning. Know your strengths. Joining the Solutionist portal, you're going to be asked to take the Strength Finders test. because we want to know what your strengths are so we know how we can interact. Because once I know your strengths and I tell you my strengths, we'll know how to work together in a way to help you move the needle so you can get the results that you desire. Are there any bonus tips that you'd like to add, Lisa, that maybe I left off?
For me, I think that when I think about business as a whole, and I think about all the steps that we've taken for business, the most important thing is your why.
Mm,
You really need to understand your why, because you're going to come in, you want your dream to happen, and this is your dream and you can visualize it. How many bumps in the road do we get on a regular basis? I mean, I can't even count how many bumps in the road that I had.
mm-hmm,
If you don't know your why, your real deep why, the reality is chances are you are not going to be able to sustain your business, because something's going to happen. It's going to be easier to sit on the couch. It's going to be easier to give up because things didn't go right. A lot of businesses closed during COVID. And a lot of people blame COVID for the reason for closure. But the reality is, if you had your why strong enough, you could have pivoted and done something different still within your business, but did something different. I had worked with somebody who was a hairstylist, and she was devastated. But what we talked about was, what I wanted her to do was to start doing tutorials to teach people how to do things. And if they wanted to, they could give her tips,
mm-hmm,
money tips,
mm-hmm,
kind of like that Cash App thing you do. And
mm-hmm,
I said, put it on there, let people. And she was actually making more money with the tips that people gave her, because she was a hairstylist. It was COVID. People were feeling bad, but they appreciated what she offered.
mm-hmm. Another company did a great pivot during COVID was Everbowl. Everbowl is where you go get those ICI bowls with all the fruits and stuff in there. Well, they actually expanded during COVID. Why? Because they had all of this inventory and they didn't know what to do. But guess what? They started asking people and they started mailing it to people's homes. So if there's a will, there's a way, and your why is strong enough, you will find a way to do it. Here's a recap, you guys, before we go into how I can help you and Lisa can help you do business your way. Number one, define your business ideal. Number two, you're going to craft a business plan, be it detailed or my way. You're going to secure some funding. How you going to do it? Show me the money. Then you're going to deal with your legal and regulatory considerations, because we want you to stay out of jail. No tax evaders on our watch. Then we want you to work on your brand development. Remember, your brand visibility is your responsibility. We want you to work on your marketing and sales strategy. Remember, you have not because you ask not. Make the sale. Then operations and logistics. You need to know how you're going to provide that service or product for the people that want to give you money, 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 money. And then 8, build your team. It is more than the people that work beside you. And if you're a solopreneur, that is everything that you have access to. And the bonus, we want you to stay lean and adaptable, embrace the power of continuous learning, network with other entrepreneurs, know your strengths, and more importantly, as Lisa said, baby, know your why. Because if you don't know why you're doing, when things get tough, you may not keep going. But we want you to think about this. Are you ready to launch your dream? Then it's time to join the Soulutionist portal. And if you join the portal, inside, it's in a platform we call Convene Communities. You'll gain confidence to do business your way. Learn to do what you love and love what you do. You can scan that QR code to get more information. You learn the business of doing business, something I love to do. You access Convene Communities, where you will learn how to network, develop passive income, and so much more. We have access to discussion boards. You'll make meaningful connections, grow your business. Of course, again, make passive income. One of my favorite things to do, because I make money in my sleep. I am a money magnet. You're going to collaborate for success, build your influence. We'll work on your mindset development. You'll be able to practice your public speaking. We have media training and so much more. And here's the best part. I'm so confident in this. I created a free community in the front end. You come in, you join my life community, which is leveraging impact for entrepreneurs, to gain access to my paid community, where I have group coaching, which is the Soulutionist portal. In order to do that, you can join today. You can join the live community for free. Come check out the things that I'm doing in there. There's a code in the middle you can scan, and that's where you will get access to my Solutionist portal, which is right now for a limited time, $97 a month. If you join now, you'll have that lifetime fee. You will not be raised when the price goes up to $450 a month. But for now, the first 150 people will get $97 a month to have access to me and to my favorite results coach, Lisa DeShorm, who will be part of the training that you have inside of this portal. Lisa, I want to say thank you for doing this extended version of Talk to Me today, because I wanted to get through all 8 steps. And mainly because this week, as I was talking about branding and all the things there, I had a couple of people say, but Brenda, what if I don't even have a business? I said, well, I know there's 8 steps that I took to get to where I'm doing so that I could launch my dream. And I promised I would share it today, and I have. And luckily, I had you here with me. This is a little longer than what we normally do. But I think it's important for people to understand there are steps, there are processes, there are foundational things that are universal to anyone starting a business. And if they're ready to launch their dreams, it is possible, but they don't have to do it alone. And that's where we come in. And that's where the Solutionist portal comes in. So if you need information, more information, like I said, all you have to do is go to scan the code right there. You can get more information about how you can join the Solutionist portal, and you can come in there and get all the support you need. Lacey, you have any closing thoughts for our audience?
I just want everybody to know you can do whatever it is you want to do. I think that that's probably one of the best things about dreaming is you have an option just to dream, or you have the option to dream and take action to make your dream become a reality. It's your choice.
I love that. And that will close us out with, as always, remember the choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. So choose wisely and choose to join the Solutionist portal. See you next week.